In 2018, a couple of months before leaving office, I returned to the Sierra Nevada to give back the baton. And as proof of mission accomplished, I gave the leaders of the Cogis and Arhuacos three things. One, a copy of the peace agreement. Two, information on our very aggressive environmental policies. And three, the text of the SDGs approved here in this building in 2015, where Colombia played a key role in its conception. To my surprise, they told me to keep the baton because my mission was not finished. They claimed that in the SDGs, the most important dimension was lacking, the spiritual dimension, which means that humans have to accept and understand that life is nature, that rivers, ocean, trees, they all have life and they all have rights and should be treated as equals. And they are right. I came back from the Vatican yesterday, where Pope Francis invited 30 Nobel Peace Laureates to the first World Meeting on Human Fraternity.
In our declaration, we made a call to build environmental fraternity, to make peace with nature, because, and I quote, everything is in relation to everything. And this call should be embraced by this council.
We have for too long ignored nature and its critical role in sustaining humanity and the planet. The science is now clear that if we are to reverse the destabilizing impacts of climate change, we must stabilize our relationship with nature. Biodiversity laws and climate change cannot, I repeat, cannot be addressed separately. In countries like mine, preserving the forest turns out to be more net effective and as important as cutting emissions from fossil fuels. One great achievement for the upcoming COP28 would be to explicitly link the Biodiversity Convention with the Climate Change Convention and identify shared commitments and actions under both. Or even better, merge them into one convention. I know that in the actual circumstances, this is an impossible ideal, but the point is that both should act together to recognize and adequately fund the protection of nature to ensure its role as a fundamental solution to our climate and biodiversity crisis and as a necessary condition to achieve and maintain peace. Madam President, dear friends,
I am a member of the elders,
the group of independent leaders founded by Nelson Mandela, whose former chair was Kofi Annan, and today's vice chair is Ban Ki-moon. The elders are united in our commitment to peace, human rights, justice, and a sustainable planet. It is our mission to call on world leaders to step up and respond to existential threats facing humanity.
the climate crisis, pandemics, nuclear weapons, and now also artificial intelligence, which should be urgently regulated.
There is much the Council could do to integrate climate more effectively into UN operations on the ground, building on the work of the informal expert group. This includes having more climate and security advisors attached to peacekeeping missions and using climate forecasting as a part of the UN's prevention toolkits to anticipate and mitigate risk in fragile contexts. There cannot be peace without sustainable development, and there cannot be sustainable development without peace.
As simple as that.
Peace can only be maintained if the very forests, soils, and rivers that communities depend on are protected and managed sustainably. Ahead of COP28, the international community must help the most vulnerable to strengthen their resilience. This starts with developed countries delivering their climate finance promises, including a doubling of adaptation finance
By 2025.
and multilateral institutions dramatically increasing their financial capacity. We need bold policy action. We must redouble our efforts, not only in mitigation and adaptation, but in nature positive solutions, including conserving high integrity forests, peatlands, coral reefs, and other ecosystems that provide humanity with clean air and clean water. I would like to end with a call on the members of this Security Council for unity, constructive dialogue, and cooperation, not only on climate, peace, and security, but on the Council's mandate as a whole. We are at a moment in history where the world is at risk of dividing into blocs which compete for power and supremacy over each other, rather than cooperating to address the unprecedented challenges and existential threats that we all face.
Unite to cooperate, or we will